Hey, welcome to I think this is the sixth episode. Um, in the last few episodes, we have set up a new project from scratch. Then we have worked on the backend a little bit. We created some sort of UI. Let's review them. Sharing screen. Yep. Yeah. So this is where we are so far. We have sort of a okay looking UI with some data, which is here. This is the data, and then we are passing this data to backend for processing. So over here, and that processing is happening over here. This is our populate TOC guy, and we have implemented authentication. We could have done this without authentication for testing, but now that we have started in this direction, let's go. So if you remember, we already have a auth package activated for this package. So you can go to this URL and it's telling us kind of that we are not logged in. So we can log in, but in order to log in, we'll have to create an account. So let's first create an account. AST@AST.com. So let's see. We are facing an issue. What happened? So we received a 500 where the error message is brilliant. There is no error message because I think we are running it not in the error mode. Account meta done for AST. Count meta done for AST. Okay. Received a server error with no error. So let's say we stop this and we run it in the trace mode. This time we'll receive some more extra logging. I'm just going to check on the auth if we are still not logged in. Let's see if with this AST, can you log in? No. So what's happening? Let's see what's happening with our db.sqlite. So we have the entry. Why am I not getting an error message here? Let's see what's happening. The network tab. Anything at all happening with that? Yeah, login. Mm-hmm. Okay, there is a WASM error while executing, but what is that WASM error? We're making the call to auth backend login. Payload is missing. Payload we should be sending. What's the payload we sent? Request data. How do we send payload data? This is how we send the payload data. That is very peculiar. What error am I getting? I'm getting a WASM error. How? Why? So if I'm calling this API through curl, API is working, but not through browser. Yes, curl. Why is it returning binary output? Oh, why? Why is it complaining? Output requires parameter. Maybe I'll pipe it to something. Will be going on. Is- So if we do this, everything is fine, and we get a 200. And after executing this insert statement, it's returning this request, which is fine. But if I do this call, I am getting an error. Something in the headers is funky. Or is it because of the changes that I've done in the FTSDK? Yeah, let me see if I can use the FTSDK from package. Let's bring this guy back. And let's not use this whole thing we did so that we can get this method post working. Change. Yeah, definitely. ठीक है. So how can we proceed this stream? One way to proceed is to ignore the auth. Yeah. Seems that the local changes I've done is causing some problems. So I'll get back to it. I will ignore the auth. Ignoring the auth means that I will keep this and I'll keep this. And let's change our logic for now to just ignore this logic. Let's comment this out because we already have a user ID 1, so we just return 1. So basically what we are seeing is this should have worked, obviously, but obviously since it is not working for now, we don't want to get logged and use this. So now the user is logged in. Let's verify if the site is still working. And it is not. Expected a sequence. Oh, I'm not recompiled it. Where is the terminal? Okay, what the full name machine is. Come on, man. Can you pause? The rainbow. Yeah. So the auth simply did not work. It's funny because it does work. So what have we changed? Either we've changed something in the auth repo or we have changed something in fastn. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So things are kind of. Hey, where did the request go? It's here only. Perfect. So if I do the original curl just to this should also be logged in. The user ID 1. How do we check that? Maybe we can put a debug statement here. Okay, perfect. So we want come on. What is this indexing, man? It's odd. In case of error, also it proceeded, even though I'm using an and. So build wasm should return an error message. Build wasm is a function which we are calling over here. It says or return one. So something is wrong here. That is very weird. This process, this command should have failed. And set minus e bash set minus e. Why is it telling me set minus x? What does minus e mean? Yeah, this is pretty clearly there. Hash bin bash. So hash bin bash. And it is okay. Is it because this reason? I have to get resource first of all. Let me put a compilation error and make sure. Key. Why is this proceeding? I'm not going to investigate everything that comes my way. We will be just mindful of this and note it. Ki this should have failed. So what are we going to do now? So user ID 1 is there. Now uh, we can verify the output is different. Let's see. So we have done this. Let me recompile. And this time when we do this curl, oh, it's still probably recompiling. We should see the user ID 1 as the output. Perfect. Current user is 1, which means that this query was executed and did not fail. Uh, what can we do? Let's look at the UI side so that we can actually try something interesting. So far in our UI, we are ignoring the status. So the first thing that we should do is to not ignore the status. Easiest way to do that would be to make this guy ftd.row, and then we put, yeah, let's do this. Let's see what happens. So status of everything is undefined. This is just absolutely brilliant. What happened? Optional string status. Let's check our code. Source. That is odd. So basically, what happened here? Let's print out the input and output to see if this guy is returning something, doing something funky. Let's see. And we do this before and after, just to see if our function is doing nothing. Status is indeed none for all of them. This is interesting. So why were we not able to change the status? Because the concept URL is null. Oh, so we need to have the concept URL in our data. So this is the problem. We have to put, let's say, concept. It for now it doesn't really matter. Now if we do this, oh, you don't even have to do this. We can just reload it. Yeah. So now the introduction gets status. Let's put. So our code is working. Now what do we want to do is we want to do something better than this. How do we show status, right? So one thing is we can do is if, and let's put un text only, right? And if Okay, let's see if this code works. And perfect. So we can now put different things. So do we want to put a status? We can put a, let's try to put an icon just for the fun of it. So I think we already have some dependency, SVG icons. So you can take a look at the SVG icons package, and maybe there's some documentation for this. Brilliant. This is just absolutely brilliant. Why can I see FTD? It is. Why is everything broken? What is happening here? Okay, forget. I will search for SVG icons. I might have used it inside design system. SVG icons. So we have added a direct dependency to this, which we'll have to do to our fastn file, which is next to it, this guy. So we should add this. Okay, and where are we using it? We are importing this here. So we will do that in our index file, which is here. And where are we using ph now? Ph.fill. So these are the various icons. So let me just put one of them and over here. And we don't have this condition. Let's see. Library not found. SVG icons. Fresh site phosphor. Oh, we put it in the wrong place. We put this dependency in this file. We should put this here. And I think because we are modifying fast10, that's another problem actually. Could be that we simply did not restart our server. So every time we modify fastn.ftd, we have to restart the server. Oh my god. Let's see. Perfect. So now we have an icon. Now which icon is this? And for icons. So what icon do we want to use? This dot is pretty decent. What are we using here? Right? It's a circle. I think this can be put here as well. Perfect. We should put some spacing. Okay, perfect. Icons. Yeah. I mean, this is going. Let's put width. What is the minimum width? Fill. What is the value of width? Built-in types. I think width is a length. It has fill container, so it is hug content. So this guy has to be hug content. Let's see if it makes a difference. No, this dot. Why is it so far away? So this is the gap. A has color, width, fit content. Width is fill content. Fit content. This is what you wanted. Is there anything we can do? Okay, we are not going to investigate this for now. So this is what we want, and now we'll have only one dot next to introduction, which is only cool. So what do we have to do for others, right? So we have for new, we use this, which is fine. I think I've used this new in a bunch of places. This icon for the other ones, which is basically the other possible values are seen and done. So for seen, I think we should not use any, and for done, we should figure out some icon. So let's see. Done. Yeah, try check. Check or check circle. Let's see. Check circle. And for now, I will just put this for both, just to see how does the icon look like. It's too similar. I'll try this one just to check. Yeah. Why is it getting a square? Checks. Let's put checks. I'm not fond of that square box. Why is it getting that? No, we'll use some other icon. If not check, we'll call. What else can we say? Check. Done. Check mark. Book. Let's do one thing. Let's not worry too much about it for now. So we'll put the check for now. Let's check. Put check circle. Let's put something so that we can see both. And this is concept. How do we return different ones? It is tricky. How do we do that? How do we do that? I don't want to do too much work. Let's we don't want to see how the two icons look together right now. Actually, that brings us to a very interesting position that we should probably create storybook. Yeah, no, I'm not really ready for the storybook. Let's do something real. So we have an icon, and Actually, let's do one thing. Let's put the button to change the status. Let's implement the real awesome stuff. So now we want to put the button at the end of each page, right? So we don't want to modify each of these files, like for example, by fastn and introduction, right? So let's do one thing. Actually, that might be cool. Put the icon below before the text, but that then we have to use an icon for everything, because then the alignment will break. If we do this, the alignment is broken. Uh, does look better. I think let's not worry about these things. So we are going to do something real now, which is add a form. Right. So form requires certain amount of song and dance. So we have to create an action file, and this is our action file. So we'll create a new action file. Actually, for now, let's not create an action file. So what we want to do is, this is the page and this is the content, right? So after this content, right? So we have this row which contains this and this. So in this column only, so let's put this. Okay, so we are going to move these two, and we are going to put something below this. Mm, okay, so let's see if this is coming. So we've added something which comes on every page, right? So, and this is the place where we want to put. Oh, this page doesn't exist. No matter. Um, oh, we have one more problem. What is the current? It would have been brilliant if we had the current thing there. So how do we do the current here? So, so we have a processor called, I think, current page or something. We are going to ignore these, and we are looking at yes, current URL and the document ID. So let's take this current URL. Let's use this first. So we are going to put create a variable URL as string URL, which is defined by $processor PR current URL, and we'll have to, I think, import PR over here. So where are we here? And let's put this in our URL. Okay. So this processor basically, now what do we do with this current URL? Actually, we are not supposed to put it here, and we put it in our meta. Basically, what we are going to do is pass one more parameter to this guy. Current URL. Perfect. And I am going to add, that will allow us to, yeah, that can allow us to put some sort of like which entry to be highlighted, right? So, but in the page, to the page, what are we passing? To the page, we are passing, what are we passing? So we are passing, so what are we returning now? So instead of returning this, we can return something better, right? So we can return basically, let's call it page data. Let's call it, create a record called page data, which will contain this, but it will also contain something else. And now we are going to not return this, but we are going to return page data, page data. Let's call it record, and change our page, which is defined inside over here, page.tsc, right? So instead of clicking this, we will take, yeah, let's move this record back to the, yeah, that will simplify our life a little bit with respect to nomenclature. So we're going to create one more record, and now we don't need this record name. Perfect. So this will contain something more, and that would be available to us. Some extra data can be available to this page. So we'll not get this, we'll get page data now. Okay, where was the TOC? Here. So we'll call it, let's call it data. Page.data.toc. Page, the title is fine. Now, what do we want to do? We want to basically see if the current page is a concept URL or not. So that's the extra data we want to fetch from the backend now. So we'll call it Boolean current page is concept, is a concept page. Let's say, why not have a very clear. So we are creating a new variable, page data, and we are storing this bit of data on it from the backend. Now, if the current page, so we need not just the TOC, we also need the current page. We are passing the current URL. So this is good. And so far, yeah, we are, this name is not right. So, but this would be called, let's teach.page data. Perfect. And in our let's teach, we are doing this wrong, so we change the definition, so we should carry along this definition. No. The page definition is changing. This would be page data over here. This is our page. First we fix their page, so we have to fix our page, which is over here. And this would be lt dot, and this should be, what was it originally? Dollar meta dot, and we are calling it page data. So This is meta, and this is page data. We are passing page data. This goes up, and everything feels fine. So we would have now received some extra data from the backend, which we can now use here. So we don't want to show the URL, but we want to show a form here. And we want to, let's call it the form. So we'll call this form, what do we call it? We'll call it concept assessment. Let's call it self-assessment. So there is a self-assessment form which should be only available if this so we don't need this dollar, and this is page dot data dot current page is a concept page equal to true. Do we need this? Let's do one thing. Let's make this variable. We can put a default value, but that will not help because I thought, can we test this whole thing without modifying the backend? But we cannot because the backend will return data of a different shape now. It will not return the TOC. It will return. So let's create a type on the backend side called struct page data, and this will contain the vector of entry, which is TOC, and it will have all of these funky stuff, and it will have a variable with very long name. Which is a boolean, and we will, yeah, and because of this kebab case it will become whatever. Now we will receive not just one field but two fields. We need the current URL, which is of the type string, which is a default type, so we can ignore it. Let's verify the name is correct because we are passing it by the name current URL. Perfecto. So now we have the current URL, and which we are going to ignore for now. So we are going to put this underscore, and we are going to change the shape. So instead of returning TOC, we will return page data with TOC, comma, the really long name as, let's put it true for now. So we have changed the backend, we have modified the structure. Current page is, so it will always be true. So for now, all pages, maybe we'll see this thing. So let's rebuild. Now we have not yet defined the component. So we have to define a new component called self-assessment form. Perfect. 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 So now we are expecting self-assessment form to be visible. Somewhere we are still using TOC. This page doesn't have TOC. So line number 16 in the index file line number 16. We do not have a line number 16 index file. This is brilliant. lt.page. Let's teach template line number 16. Maybe it is line number 16 of this file. Where the hell is line number 16? That's very weird. We have not used lt dot thing here. We put lt dot stuff, not even here. Where is the lt dot stuff? Oh, here. Oh, it's complaining about this file. Okay, line number 16, lt dot page. This is wrong. So it should pass data and data. And brilliant. So self-assessment form is showing up. And if we go and return false from the backend, it will not show up. Let's not change the cycle once. Let's do, now that we have done it, let's do the other thing also. So for every entry, we want a field saying this is the current page. And the default value is false. So we can do this. So our code will not change. And we can use this to change the style, show entry. So if we get this entry, how do we show that this is a current page? Link is there. Underline true. I don't think underline true works. Let's see. Text attribute. I think we can simply say style colon underline. And we should only do if, and we are doing show entry dot thing dot is current page. Whew. Let's see what happens. Keynote form is current page. I think because we have erased this information, so to bring it back is current page. Good. And we'll just echo it back. So I think this will just work. We just have to recompile. Where is my coffee? Okay, so looks like either our condition is wrong. Let me see what is this. And the GitHub, someone has commented. Pathway. Yeah, I'll take a look at them later. So we have one mystery. Why is the underline not working? Right, because it's true here. And the default value, because you have not specified. Oh, this current page is false. If you make it true, then it will awesome. So all of them are underlined. Perfect. So this is all good. We just have to fix this value in the backend. So is current page. So what do we do? We can iterate over them once more. Fix is current page. Perfect. And what do we have to do? Come on, FN. Okay. So obviously we have to pass the current URL. So now we'll create this function. Fix. I think this is kind of brilliant. This works. There's a case sensitivity issue, etc. But I think this works. Let's see. Okay, this is not brilliant because I was expecting. Okay, is our logic incorrect? Okay, let's do this here, and let's current URL also. Actually, I'll do this curl. So current URL is slash. Okay. Entry has a title, entry has a URL. Oh, entry doesn't have a URL or what? Oh, entry has a URL. Oh, entry URL is incorrect. Is that what is happening? URL is correct. URL is correct. Of course, the URL must be correct. How? So the entry URL current page is slash entry URL is slash is current page is still false. How? Why? Why? URL is slash and the current page is slash. So this entry URL will do the current. Why? Why? Let's. Okay. This is brilliant that the loop is the sprint statement didn't come at all. Is that because CP? What happened? I mean, the why is this not happening? Let's put some more. So any coffee is here. So what is happening? False, false. Uh oh. Uh oh. This is ugly. This is pretty bad. How do we fix it? How do we fix it? We can fix it as query. What else do we have? Uh, Query path optional hidden cookie. Because this is definitely a bug, and I think how is this working? Pretty weird. Oh, it's happening because this is pretty peculiar. I'm going to do something funky and extremely hacky. Sorry, I'm really sorry for this. Basically, what is happening is we are sending a JSON represented string, and we are using the FT SDK from something is funky there. We'll fix this. So the two bugs that we have created earlier, this is related to them, and now I hope that the problem is goner. And oh, you have to trim end matches. Trim. Is there a way to trim both sides matches? Trim matches. Maybe trim matches. Do we have a? We just have. Let's just do a replace. Mm, I don't think I need this. We could have used the JSON parser, but we are hacker mode. So let's see what happens now. Perfect. So now the underlying thing is current URL is working. Why is it so slow? But that's a separate story. So bottom line is it is working. The correct one is getting highlighted. Okay, okay. I have no idea why it's just moving about. Okay, we'll ignore that also. So now what we have, I think it's a good time for us to do a check-in. Let's see what all have we done. So we've added a current URL, we've changed the user ID to one hard-coded value because we'll commit it, we'll fix it in the next session. We fixed the current handle, current page URL handling. Yeah, we changed the shape. Mm, We can do one more interesting thing. So currently the icon that we are using is for, yeah, let's fix the icon. So we said we will use check circle for this and circle for new. So these two will go back to dot, and what we will do is, and because this is a concept URL, we'll change the statuses in the database. So let's do that. So one is concept URL y fastn. Again, the content and concept URL is the same, but it's not meant to be. So we will, yeah, we will use SQLite again. Oh no. Oh yeah. Location. So as of now, we don't have anything in the let's. Right, so this table is empty. So we'll do insert into let's teach. What all are we going to insert? We are going to insert the user ID, concept URL, and status. And I think this is how you do that. User ID would be one. You should use single quotes and single quote. And let's pretend the concept URL of slash will be new. Let's say it is done. And the concept URL of y fastn is seen. Okay, dokie. Now, if I reload this page, I'm expecting different icons. Perfect. So introduction is done, and this is seen. So the third one is seen. Let me put the new one so that. And this would be, what do we call it? Concept is there, yeah. So now there would be all three icons. We can see all three various states. Let me put it next to each of them. This I'm not too fond of this decision. Let's invert it. The scene ones should have this. Yeah, I want to do that. Why? Because there are too many dots. So it's kind of like noise. So I will make this for scene. So I have so far. So this is what it's telling me. User ID one, which is the current page, has read. Sorry, which is the current user has read introduction, which is the current page, and um, this guy why was fastn. So it is at least seen, meaning that in the past I have at least opened it once. So all the ones that I've opened will become like this dot, mean that I've seen them. Most likely these are the ones that you want to finish soon. So you want that green dot for all of them, unavoidable, right? Like obviously, can we put the color as green? I don't think color is allowed, but maybe we can put color here, or maybe put the color. Let's see, color green. I think this will not work. Oh, it works. Perfect. So this would be actually better to put here. Yeah, perfect. I think I should not use green, and because we are using, yeah, it looks all right in both colors, dark mode and light mode. It's fine. We'll let it be. I think this is good. This is good. Let's check this in. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah. Data, etc. Now we want to create the form, self-assessment form. So as we saw the form, this is currently how the form looks like. What you want is this thing to become green, right? So how do we achieve that? So we have to do two things. Obviously, we have to create a form. So in this case, the form is going to be just a copy regular, let's say heading small, and then we'll say if you have learned this concept, please fill this. Please update the. Actually, use the following buttons to update the status. And then we'll put two base dot primary button, and let's call it done. Mark as done. And then we'll put base dot primary mark as not done. And I think this should be a secondary button. We don't have to. What are we doing wrong? This is a very common problem. This guy needs to be inside a base dot column, and we should put the top left and content top left. Perfect. And this should be kind of a row. Yeah, and this should also be, unless we like it. Yeah, we don't. Let's see. Now, so that's the kind of like the assessment form. It's simple. Let's just do one thing. Let's remove this caption on one of them to make sure that this form doesn't show up everywhere. So we'll basically remove this and see. Something is wrong. Oh, because we might have put the default value. What is the default value of this variable? Boolean is current. Current page is a concept page. This is why. It's not a concept URL. URL is required. So this is fine. But this, let me delete this. Question is key, why is that coming? So this logic, what is the, I will bring this back and first check this. Where are we? How are we deciding? Current page is a concept page. Are we not fixing this on the back end? No, yeah. No, we've not fixed this logic at all. Uh, how do we do this? This is kind of wrong. No. This is garbage. What are we doing? Current page is a concept page, is a variable that we are creating by looking at your C, looking at every entry, and entry dot is current page, which we can rely. Yeah, this is kind of a bit of indirectionality. I could have put this condition right there, but I think this is fine. Don't mind it. In the meanwhile, let me go back and make this guy not a concept URL. And yeah, so now we should not see the form here, and we should see the form here. Perfect. Things are working well. Okay. So now we have to get these forms to work, right? How do we make them work? So that is the this bit. So we will create some sort of function called uh, so what do we send it to? What do we send to the server? So we can send the concept URL, but for the concept URL we need. Let's send the concept URL. Let's include the. Actually, yeah, let's do that. So basically, the question is, what do we need when we are clicking on hitting this button, right? So the button needs to know what is the current. So because you're changing the concept URL, you don't need the current URL, you need the concept URL. And like we discussed, they are going to be obviously mostly different, or rather they will always be different. The fact that we have put them as equal is obviously totally wrong. So we need the, so we'll say update concept status. And what do we need? We need only the concept underscore URL and the status. So concept URL and status, because this is not an input field, we are not going to use string field, and we are simply going to use string. We've not tested it since a while. Let's see if this will just works. And status. And where do we want to send this data to? So the data should go to backend slash update concept status and submit form concept URL, and then this guy and status. Good, good. So we have to call this function on click. Right? When do we call it? On click. On click of these two buttons. Oh, we are putting it in the wrong place. We should put this inside our this fellow. Perfect. Now we have these two buttons, so each of them should have a dollar on click. We have to do some more stuff. This is, I think, how you specify. Let's see. Over here. So this is roughly what we have to do. Go back to this file. So the function is over here only, so we don't need this name, but we need this dollar. And we need to pass the concept URL. And let me put the charger. These variables are not mutable, so we'll need concept URL equal to. Now what do we put here? And status is clear. So mark as done should have this status. Let's put a single concept URL and see if this is working. And here the status would be not done, not done, goes back to seen. These are the three statuses: seen, done, and new. Let's see. Let's see how much failures. Create text post. Let's teach dot fifth side not found. Create text post. Of course, this is not create text post. It is update concept status. Okay, now let's see. Button. What happened? Let's see. JavaScript. Okay. So apparently it doesn't work. So what do we have to do to make this work? So this is kind of bit of tricky. So the problem is that the data you want to send to the server, where the hell is that data? and we use string field. So let's show what I'm talking. So we'll call it actually dot string field done as status with the value of done, and we'll create another one called done should be called scene, the value of scene, and we can change this guy ftd.string field. So basically it's expecting string field, and that is the problem. So now can we apply more than one on click, or so I think this function is problematic. So normally this is what we do, right? So normally we use the on click with on click defined in this file. So normally this is the submit button and this is the status. Let's do this first. It's not awesome. So we are going to have a separate update button. Not at all happy with that. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? One thing we can do is, yeah, is this submit form? I'm not happy with this. I'm hoping this function was ftd.js. So this is our submit form that we are calling. It gets a bunch of arguments, and for each argument, if it is immutable, then it does this. Otherwise, it is expecting it to be an instance of record class. Not sure if we. So basically, right now, this guy can send data. Mm, so we can only send a record instance, which is only the string fields are supported. Do we fix this function? Let's see. If instead of this, if we can put this as if, and then we'll put. Now we need a name. How the hell do we get the name if it is not a record instance? That's our problem. So we need to send to the server the name and value. So if you look at this guy over here, when we are doing this submit guy, we are simply passing the title. And why is that? Because the title itself is a, if you look at this guy, where is this title defined? Right? So the title is defined over here, and it gets the name. So This is one way to hard-coded value. We can do this. So this status guy is an easy one, which is what we are trying to do. We are trying to create is public value true, status value done seen. This is brilliant. So this will work. How do we pass the concept URL? So status is equal to dollar done and dollar seen. What should be the URL? So let me just put a hard-coded URL for now, and we'll try to, and let's just put slash. So concept URL is again dollar concept. Because we like, so, and over here also we like this. Okay. Okay. Can we load this page? Seems we can. Is this an old? Yes, we'll clear this. And let's see what happens. Okay, perfect. So we made a backend call. The backend URL is incorrect. Why is that? Okay, we have not put the app name. So app is equal to let's teach. So now the URL should be better. Yeah, teach backend update status. So because you've not implemented the backend, so we have to create a new backend and we are going to call it new. The name is update concept status. Okay, and this is a form. So why do we care it is a form? Because you know forms are okay. They are a bit like this. So we are going to put something like this, and we call it rename, copy, paste, and okay. And what should a form return? Form returns a redirect. Where should it redirect back to? That's a good question. So we have to pass the redirect URL, or we can reload also. Brilliant. So what do we need? We need definitely maybe me, and then we need the data. So all the bits of data that we have received, right? So we'll call it struct. No, this should be concept status. So this would be a, and it should have a concept should be URL with string, and of course it should be all the sort of stuff. The key. So we have the concept data, concept status, and app URL. Do we need the app URL? We don't need the app URL. Maybe me. Let's ignore that, and let's do this. And or let just print the to ft data, and then one ABB. Perfect. So we will simply, where is it? complaining. Debug is not implemented, so we'll implement. Okay, okay. FTSDK doesn't have a debug implementation. What do we do? 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 Okay, we will not print that. We will print maybe we dot UD, which is perfect. And what is this guy complaining? It is never used. Why are you saying that, my friend? Because this is also never used. Anyways, now we should have the backend handler. Yeah, this will never be mute. And let's look at it. Now, when we do this, page reloaded. Perfect. Okay, done. And page reloaded. It is taking its sweet time, but it is kind of working. So, what parameters do we need? These concept status. Do you want to see, because it will be very big output. Somewhere here it must have done the, this is the 200 call. So we can see the output, and the output, yeah. So we got the status as done, and concept URL is slash, and the user is not logged in. So everything is kind of perfect, right? Things are tied together. There are a few things that we are not at all fond of. How do we handle this, right? So one question is, where do we get the concept URL? So this is inside the component. So we should put the string concept URL as a parameter to this. And can we do this? So the idea is key, I will do another on click, and I will update the variable. Something like this, right? Can we do this? Self ss form dot concept URL. A. I think we should be passed dollar A. That's another problem. So the hack that we are trying to do is should be pretty clear. Now we need to pass the concept URL. Now, how do we get the concept URL for the current page? So that is what I was saying. We can change this from this to optional string current page concept URL. And yeah, So current pages concept URL. It is a little controversial, but it's okay. So current page concept URL is now going to be an optional string. And where is the current page fix, right? So we change this thing to, let's, maybe is current page. No. Now what we want to do is, so you want to go through the entries and find the entry first. No, we want to find the entry which is, so we have the current URL. You can just loop over them manually. So we start with none, let mute, and then we write yeah, this looks all right. We can do this by a single, without a mute also. So what we can do is, and then we'll do a map. Yeah, I think this is what we wanted. What's the complaint? Option of option. Is this what you want? So you go through all the entries, see if the current page. If it is not, obviously, there's no page as a current page, then we are obviously out of luck. And then we find that concept, the current page hai, concept bhi hai, then we get this. And whatever the URL, we'll get the URL. I think this is fine. Let's try this out. What else will we have to do? Concept status. Okay, this is fine. So what we have to do is, so we have to pass this parameter to the self-assessment form. So what we call it? Yes, page data, current page concept URL. This is optional string. I think this kind of works because this is like a kind of, this is something funky. Let's see if it works. It's not working. It's not option string, it's optional string. Come on. Let's see. Ugly error, line number 0. What is going on? Library not found. How do we find out the issue? Let's get rid of this self-assessment. Let's see. ASD. Our endo is not working. So we'll do a park here because I have some work to do. So I'll end the stream right now. There are a bunch of things which are not working. but I'll just commit the broken. Just for reminder, I'll say untested. So I'll stop here. Okay. See you next time.